presence in a smile. Love and compassion hand in hand. Forgiveness helps us understand. Infinite threads weaving hearts together, even miles apart. Through the laughter, through the tears, we find strength to face our fears. Infinite threads weaving hearts together, even miles apart. Through the laughter, through the tears, we find strength to face our fears.
Hello again, friends, and welcome back to Infinite Threads. It's Friday, which means it's time to pause, reflect, and weave together everything we've explored this week. We've had some deep conversations about what empathy truly means, how to practice it in tough situations, and why extending it to ourselves is just as important. So before we head into the weekend, let's take a moment to look back at the lessons we've learned. We kicked off the week by defining empathy, not just as understanding someone's feelings, but truly feeling with them. We talked about the difference between sympathy and empathy, how empathy connects while sympathy can sometimes create distance, how active listening builds bridges between people, and why being present with someone's emotions without trying to fix or dismiss them is the foundation of true compassion. One big takeaway: empathy is a skill. It takes practice, and the more we engage with it, the more natural it becomes. On Tuesday, we explored what gets in the way of empathy, because let's be honest, sometimes it's not easy. Some of the biggest barriers we discussed were emotional overload. When we're drained, it's hard to extend empathy to others. Biases and snap judgments. Our own assumptions can block our ability to truly listen. The fear of vulnerability. Sometimes connecting with someone's pain brings up our own emotions. We also talked about ways to overcome these barriers. Practicing self-awareness, catching ourselves when we shut down or judge too quickly. Setting emotional boundaries, learning to be present without absorbing all of someone else's pain. Very important. Challenging our assumptions, taking a step back and asking, what if I'm missing part of their story? That's another really important one. Wednesday was all about action, how we put empathy into practice, even in challenging situations. We covered listening to understand, not just to respond, asking open-ended questions instead of making assumptions, regulating our emotions so we don't react defensively, validating feelings even if we don't agree with the perspective. It's easy to be empathetic when we agree with someone, but real growth happens when we choose empathy, even when it's uncomfortable. Yesterday, we turned the conversation inward because here's the truth: you can't pour from an empty cup. Empathy for others starts with how we treat ourselves. Some key lessons that we got are self-kindness over self-criticism, recognizing our shared humanity, you're not alone in your struggles, practicing mindfulness, learning to acknowledge our emotions without letting them define us. One powerful takeaway: speak to yourself like you would a loved one. If you wouldn't say it to a friend, don't say it to yourself. So what's the big lesson from this week? Empathy towards others and towards ourselves is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about choosing compassion moment by moment. And like any skill, the more we practice it, the more natural it becomes. As we head into the weekend, I have a challenge for you. Try practicing one small act of empathy each day. Maybe it's truly listening when someone shares a struggle. Maybe it's withholding judgment in a difficult conversation. Or maybe it's being kind to yourself when self-doubt creeps in. These small moments, they ripple outward. They matter. That's our recap for the week. Thank you for being here, for reflecting, and for being part of this journey. Next week, we'll dive into new conversations, ones that challenge us, inspire us, and help us build deeper connections. Until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time. I love you all very, very much. Now go pass that on.
Every story, every voice, in this love we all rejoice. Infinite threads, here we go. Welcome friends, enjoy the show. Every story, every voice, in this love we all rejoice. Infinite threads, here we go. Welcome friends, enjoy the show.